Let me get ready. 6.5. All right. And here we go.
New Year, same season. Ozone, season 2. New Year, same season. City stay frozen. Big apple pressure when you
Let's
step in the ozone,
go! We are here. We are live. Recapping another Knick playoff game. And just like the last one, we're celebrating a victory because the Knicks got the dub and take a 3-2 lead as it was another belt to booty type performance. The Knicks winning 126-97 at the Garden, not messing around at all. Yes, it wasn't wire to wire. However, the Knicks dominated the game from open and tip. I'm here with super producer Dave, the best co-host on the business. We just picked up another sub while we doing this right now. So shout outs to y'all. Remember, y'all, to like, subscribe, comment, show some love, share with your people, share with all your Knick fans. And if you know a lot of Knick haters, which I know a lot, share it to them and let them see us have a little moment of joy. Brother, how are you feeling?
Brother, I mean, look at the performance that we've been getting from the Knicks in the last two. I've been I sound like I'm beating a dead horse, and if you've been paying attention to my socials, you'll see it a lot. The Knicks finally realized they are the better team. It's
You don't
it's
say.
I
Right?
mean, clearly, we knew the Atlanta Hawks would give us a challenge, but there's a difference between giving us a challenge and making it seem like they can actually win the series. And at game three, at the end of it, we felt like, damn, are the Knicks really going to do this to us? But, brother, the Knicks have turned it up. They turned another notch on. They
Right.
decided to play as a team. No more hero ball. Even with the captain going off for a great game, there was still a lot of sharing going on. And we're going
Yeah.
to go into that,
And
brother.
we're gonna get into that. We definitely gonna get into that, guys. As we know, as we start off these lives, we start off going over the team stats. And man, the Knicks did their thing, man. They did their thing. Um, Field goal, they shot 57% from the field, 45 makes on 79 attempts to Atlanta's 45. Um, Obviously the three-point percentage was atrocious for Atlanta, 13 for 42, shooting 31%. The Knicks shot a little better, 11 for 26. Um, from three, that's 42%. The free throw line, I don't like I said, I guess if there was one bad thing I did not like was the free throw shooting. You guys know my role. I anything over two possessions and free throws, I don't like. So obviously the Knicks shot 74% from the free throw line. They did get there a lot. 34 attempts, making 25. Atlanta, they missed seven free throws as well, 10 for 17 from the line. But this is the most glaring stat, brother, was we knew we had the rebounding advantage. Although we did out rebound Atlanta, I believe in all the games, this was the game where we really imposed our will because we out rebounded Atlanta by 19, 48 to their 27, eight offensive rebounds to their five. The assists, we out assist them by one, 26 to 25 steals. Atlanta had seven to our six. The blocks, we had the advantage. We had six blocks to their two. And then the turnovers were, the Knicks, I thought, although it was 11 turnovers, really only 6 points came off that. So Atlanta really couldn't fully capitalize on the 11 turnovers from the Knicks. But then you look at points in the paint outside of rebounding, and you look at it where the Knicks, obviously Atlanta shot 42 threes and the Knicks shot 26, is because they were eating in the paint, brother. 60 paint points for the New York Knicks. 60. So the Knicks right there was eating the glass, feeding themselves in the paint, dominated, and they've held the lead 93% of the time of the game. And as I touched on, I think Atlanta had a 2-0 lead. I think that was the only lead in the game, I want to say, or 4-2. But outside of that, the Knicks took control of that, brother. And before I get to you, I just want to highlight the Knicks took control because of Karl Anthony Towns once again having a strong first quarter, playing 10 minutes, 7 points, 2 assists. He shot 3 of 3 from the field, one of them being a 3-pointer. He was a +7. Um, we saw from the rip the offense was running through Cat. Like, you know what I mean? We touched on it. Got a lot of views on your take, brother, about the Knicks having to run at least in particular to this series, maybe running the offense through Cat. And we're gonna get to the details of everything, but this game very much felt like watching a baseball game, brother. And you're probably gonna ask, why do you think that, right? That was supposed to cue to go and say, yeah, why do I think that? Honestly, but this game felt like that because it felt like a baseball game, right? Where the starter dominated 8 innings, like, the offense is clicking, and then the ninth inning comes, and then you throw in Mariano Rivera. And that's what it felt like. You said it in the monologue. The Knicks played great basketball, dishing the ball, doing everything. You see it, right? Doing everything. And then you brought in Mariano, aka Jalen Brunson, closed out the fourth quarter, put Atlanta to bed, gave the Knicks a 3-2 lead. So you gotta like that. But Karl Anthony Towns, brother, another strong first quarter, setting the tone for the game. What did you think?
I mean, brother, this is the kind of game that I feel like the Knicks can sustain having. There's nothing that was crazy, even in the 39 points of Jalen Brunson. I didn't feel like Brunson was doing a little bit more than he needed to. It just was the game came to him. His assignment with Dyson Daniels being on him, I think he finally figured out I can shake him. He's an all what is it? Defense, all pro defense, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. He's an all
Dyson
defensive
Daniels,
guy.
all defensive guy, and he was just. I think he just figured out. All right, I know how I can shake this guy. Got his way to the basket, and he was able to take any anybody who had their assignment on him. But when it comes to Cat is finally doing what we want to see him do. Cat is a big guy. Do not play like you're not. And then the fact is that there was another thing in this game that besides Cat and Brunson, it's Mike Brown finally realizing I can run two bigs at the same time. And
Yeah, that was it.
It was very effective. It was very effective, brother. We were watching the game, and I think I had told you like, let's pin that, and I'm gonna find the clip for us. It was the one where Mitchell Robinson got the putback. It didn't even come back down near the basket. He just made sure that I'm gonna make sure it's going in. So there's different things in this game that we saw that is just like, so why didn't we get this in game 2 and 3?
Right, and that's the most frustrating part, right? I was listening to KFTV on the way home, and CP the franchise mentioned that like he's excited, he's happy what's going on, but then at the same time, it's kind of like this is why we can get frustrated because it's like, why didn't we play like this? This team is the talent is there, like that's where the two teams differ is the talent pool. You know what I'm saying? So, um, the Knicks played like this 2 and 3. We wrapping up the series. We're talking about now who we're playing in the second round instead of let's close out in 6. So, but you mentioned it. One thing Atlanta did make an adjustment to was they put Dyson Daniels on Cat at the start of the game. And and that was to stop what the Knicks countered in game 4 with the whole pinch screen post with JB and Ananobi that was freeing OG to cut to the basket, and how Cat would give him the ball, and if that option wasn't there, Cat was able to take the big on the ISO. So what Quinn Snyder does is he's like, you know what? Let me put Dyson Daniels in that action. So if it's in a situation where Cat is in ISO, they got Daniels where maybe he can't go by him. But then, the Knicks found adjustments to that. But I think what Towns did, and you're looking at the play right now with Mitchell Robinson, and you know what? And that's the frustration. That's the thing that everybody wanted Mike Brown to play the double bigs. Good catch in that, brother. Because that seems to be the conversation within a lot of Nick people and Nick content is that Mike employed the double bigs. And that's an advantage. We have the size advantage. Mitchell Robinson is a problem for Atlanta. Look, man, Quinn Snyder's throwing in Tony Bradley. that'll tell you he got no answers. Why y'all look like y'all about to jump in the game, bro? Why you sound like a hater on the chat? I'll just put that like that. Um, we getting roasted. This is supposed to be this chat. Well, the goal was, hey, give us your take. Actually, ask some questions. Now this has become a full roast, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, it is what it is. We're gonna support our team. Yes, we are dotting our colors. If Mike Brown needs us in the game, that means we have bigger problems. So hopefully Mike Brown will never need us in the game. But brother, Karl Anthony Towns, as we touched on, Karl Anthony Towns strong quarter. But I also want to highlight one more player.
Go for it.
And that's OG Anunoby. Although he had the 3 points, but bro, 7 rebounds. 7 rebounds in this in the first quarter in general. Right now, OG Anunoby is playing lights out in his playoffs right now. 20 points per game, 9 rebounds a game. He's shooting 56% from the field, 54 from 3. This man is boiling out of his mind right now. Clearly, OG Anunoby can be at times the second or first option on this team. He really hovers around the second and third. And OG, man, although he only has 7 points in this particular game, but what he's done on the defensive side, both courts, and in that one play where he's shaking up Jalen Johnson stops, he cuts in his path to get to the basket, and he kind of, hit little hezzy, spins the block, fade away, mid-range. This is why sometimes Knicks fans could get in their bag and go, man, this is like baby Kawhi. This is like Kawhi Leonard type, because OG has it in his game. Obviously, he doesn't have the handle like Kawhi Leonard, but everything else sometimes does mirror it. He's hitting big time threes. Brunson hit him with a lot of open looks when they were trapping Brunson and doubling Brunson, and he hit a lot of big shots. So I wanted to highlight OG Anunoby because, within this series, we've either been talking about the struggling shooting efficiency of Jalen Brunson and maybe the lack of cat touches and who should be the number one focal point within the offense. And I think some of us is losing sight of what OG Anunoby's been doing in this playoff series, particularly not only on the defense, which he's known for, but on the offense, where he is killing, brother.
Absolutely, and I think I know Cat is the reason why we are where we are, and this is you highlighted it, and I'm gonna keep bringing it up. That was your X factor. If Cat's going, then we there's no reason why we can't win this whole playoff rounds, right? But when it comes to OG and his play, there's this the electricity that we're seeing from him that I think we're kind of taking for granted because I think the glaring thing has been that Brunson hasn't been playing like we're used to with the Brunson we've been seeing in playoffs prior. So when we are looking at that factor and being like, well, why isn't he doing what that's doing? People are taking their eyes off of what OG is doing. OG and Cat have been the MVPs of this series so far. And I think people just need to realize, like, hey, that last game is an indication of what this team can be when everything is working. Because yes, Brunson did get 39 points, but he dished it 8 times as well. This team can, and those 8 assists were key. It's exactly what this team is capable of doing. And when you got guys going like that, we don't have to talk about Mikal getting 0 points on games. When we have guys like that stepping up and Josh Hart doing what he does, this team can gel and this team can be unstoppable. I'm not saying every team can, but they can be unstoppable at periods of this time because I don't think every team can match up with us well. Maybe Thunder, right off the bat, Thunder can match up, but let's see.
Look, at the end of the day, and this is why I said on the last live, is that when we were asked the question whether the Knicks are championship contenders or what, I forgot what was it, but at the end of the day, this is why when you see performances like this and you go, really, the Knicks are a top 5 team in the NBA, whether people who outside of being a Knicks fan like it or not. Like you can't disregard the talent that this team got. And most of the time the Knicks get in their own way. And I think that's what frustrates Knicks fans. Because when you get performances like this, you look at the bench. Um, Deuce gave you 0 points, but Jordan Clarkson played phenomenal from the bench. And Jordan Clarkson continues to play well defensively. He attacks the basket. You know what I mean? So it's like you gotta love the aggressiveness of Clarkson. You know what I mean? He finished with 9 points in 16 minutes, but he's a plus 14. He's crashing the boards. He's just really imposing as well on the defense as well, fighting over screens. He's making it tough for the Hawks players. You gotta love what you got from Clarkson. And then we gotta shout out. We have to shout out. Who do you think MVP so far this year? We'll get to that. Pin that, brother, and then
Yep.
we'll place that question towards the end. That was a good question, Jess. I would say, as much as we crapped on, and especially me, I crapped on Mike Brown with his rotations. Mike Brown's cleaned that up. He's been able to stagnate the minutes between Brunson and Towns, making sure that one of them is always on the floor. I believe it was maybe for like a minute and a half he had both of them off the floor, but that was because the Knicks were up 16 and then he immediately put Cat in. But you look at the adjustments. We touched on it. Shamit didn't have it in this series. We need a little bit more ball handling off the bench. He plugs Jose Alvarado. Jose Alvarado had key moments in the series, but then it was this game 5 where he really took off. 12 minutes, 12 points, 2 or 3 from downtown, 4 of 7 from the field overall. He was 2 for 2 in the free throws. He was +4. Jose Alvarado is just like a Josh Hart. Obviously, Josh Hart shot better from 3 this season, career high over 40%. But when Alvarado is shooting with confidence, he normally makes the basket. And that's what you want from Jose Alvarado, man. We already know he's going to bring that fiery defensive energy. You know what I mean? We already know what Alvarado's going to bring on that. But if he can bring, 6 to 7 points a game, knock down a couple key threes, because they're going to leave him open. That's who they want taking the shots. He knocked down some big threes. This is what you want to see. And this is what makes the Knicks difficult to guard when you're getting that play from the bench, because you're going to get it from your starters. But when now you're getting that activity from the bench, that makes the Knicks even harder to beat, brother. It does.
It does. And I mean, look, you also have to give credit on the defense of what we're doing against the Hawks. We're giving shots to people that we feel comfortable doing. Obviously right here I got the stats up. Dyson Daniels was 2 for 4 at the 3-point line. But that's a shot that the Knicks are totally comfortable.
You're living with that. You're living. The Knicks are going to live with that 100%.
You got 6 points off the 3, and that's it. That's fine. I can take that. But McCollum is back to look at that, 6 points.
They said he went back. They said he went back to Urkel. He was Arkell, but he went back to Urkel.
He ran out of what is it that he had to have like a formula or something, right?
I don't know. All I know is that Stephon went back to Steve.
Yeah. He ain't looking so great. And then Jalen Johnson, Okongwu, the supporting cast, they're just not being able to get it done. And maybe this is something for the Atlanta Hawks that they will address later on and the seasons to come. Try to get another playmaker in there because McCollum is only getting older. Not saying he can't get you a bucket, but he's only getting older. So credit to the Knicks for being able to stop McCollum because he was looking like the Knick villain, right? He was the one who was going to kill us.
That's what they wanted, right?
Adjustments have been made, and there are things that I'm loving from this team. And you have to give kudos not only to those Knicks players, but you have to give it to coaching. Mike Brown has always been known as a good defensive coach, and we're seeing the fruits of that labor. Yeah, maybe we're upset that we didn't get that early on in this series, but the fact is that the good coaches adjust. And Quinn Snyder was always a good coach. We talked about this before, but I feel like Mike Brown is finally getting the one up on him and realizing, all right, I know my players are better. This is what we could do better at.
No, yeah, look, 100%. Obviously, the final stats tell you that Jalen Johnson finished with the most, but at one point, Dyson Daniels was the lead scorer on the Hawks. And you going against the Hawks, you signing up for that. Mm-hmm. Dyson Daniels could be the lead scorer in Game 6 going forward. He ain't going to light you up. The Knicks left him open. In respect to him, he knocked down 2 of his threes, but the Knicks were leaving him wide open. The guy shoot like 19% from 3 or something like that. I heard in the broadcast. So you're going to live with that. As we touched on, Jalen Johnson to kill Alexander Walker, 18, 16 points. That's not going to cut it for them. Like, that's not going to cut it for Atlanta. Atlanta's going to need these guys to earn 25 or more. And then CJ, 6 points, 3 for 10 from the field. Man, the Knicks defense was swarming everyone. You know what I mean? They barely gave the Hawks any passing lanes, any lanes to drive. I mean, cut off a lot of passing lanes. And you got to credit Josh Hart. You got to credit OG Mikel as well. Mikel, yes, he only had 7 points, but I thought his defensive side of the floor was impactful. He had a dunk. I like that part that he attacked the rim. He knocked down the corner three, and that's what we need. At the end of the day, he had 7 points, but he was still a plus 11 in the 27 minutes that he played. You got to give it up to the Knicks. The Knicks defense has improved immensely, in these last 2 games, and they're making it really tough for Atlanta. They're making it really tough for Atlanta. Like, they're not shooting the ball well because of this Knicks defense. And I want to highlight this key stat because, game 5 is a swing game. And with that, I was looking it up. And historically, game 5 winners of a 2-2 series win 85% of the time. So, the pressure's on Atlanta. Look, Atlanta is going to come full throttle for game 6. That's one thing for sure. They're going to come full throttle for game 6. And we'll get into that shortly. But I want to talk about Jalen Brunson's fourth quarter. You have something to say, brother?
No, I think I'm a pin it for a little bit later. This
All
one
right.
I can wait.
So let's highlight Jalen Brunson, man, because Jalen Brunson, it's funny. We posted a video. Everybody had their takes on, who should run the offense, who should the offense be running in. We both agreed that Cat should be the one in this series in particular. But Jalen Brunson, what we didn't do, I know what we didn't do. We didn't slander Jalen Brunson like some people did. Because we know Jalen Brunson is capable of being what Jalen Brunson does. And this, I would say, is probably the most Jalen Brunson game you're going to get. You know what I mean? 39 points, 15 to 23 from the field. He shot, the percentage is great efficiency from the floor. 8 assists. He was a plus 23. And he had 1 turnover. You know what I mean? And he just gradually built up. You know what I mean? And then he comes in that fourth quarter and really just puts the game was getting out of reach. Atlanta was making baskets in the fourth quarter, but then Jalen Brunson as he went Super Saiyan. He went Super Saiyan Goku, bro. Did I say that right? Because I've never watched Dragon Ball Z.
You know what?
Ever.
Yes. Kudos to you.
All right. He went Super Saiyan Goku because in the 9 minutes, he dropped 17 points, 5 of 6 from the field, 2 of 2 from downtown. He was 5 of 6 from the free throw. He had 3 assists. He was a plus 9 in that fourth quarter. He dominated. At one point, did you see the footwork when he kind of shook off Jalen Johnson? Was it Jalen Johnson or Dyson Daniels? I can't recall who it was, but they kind of stopped him on the pump fake, and then he just moved. He just shook.
It was Dyson Daniels.
It was Dyson Daniels, and then NBC. Shout out to NBC, bro. They put the replay on his feet, like just the footwork, and we all know we've watched Jalen Brunson. This is what makes Jalen Brunson special. He's not the fastest, he's not the tallest, he's not the shortest, but he's so crafty, and his footwork is what separates him from those that have those athletic advantages over Jalen. He just knows his spots, he gets his spots, and he takes advantage. And Jalen Brunson did the Mariano, closed out this game, sent everybody home happy. And this was not arguably, I think it's fair to say, this was his best game of this series. And it came at a perfect time, brother.
Yeah. I'm right now. I'm looking for the clips. So right now, I can put it up for.
Yeah. While you find that, I do want to mention Josh Hart. Josh Hart. I what's the funny part is that I don't recall him leaving or whatever, but obviously, it was reported that he had left the game, and this is what we're looking at right here. Look, this is it. No, but I'm talking about the other one, brother. That was
you're talking about the Jalen Johnson one.
Yeah, so it's the Jalen Johnson one. It's the Jalen Johnson one where he's where they show the footwork. I'm pretty sure you'll be able to find that. It's funny.
Yeah, I got
I
it.
just yeah.
I just had to scroll up. I didn't want to show all the other videos.
Yeah. So yeah. So yeah, this is it there. That's crazy, man. Like the footwork is insane, man.
They
Like
calling him
Jalen Brunson,
Twinkle
look at that.
Toes,
Like
man.
Jalen Johnson actually plays good defense there, and then nope, got him, got him,
They
got
calling
him.
him Twinkle Toes, bro.
Yeah, he had him on skates, man. He had him on skates, and hold on, because I want to find the tweet. Yeah, so Josh Hart, I guess, was put out. He left with 5 minutes to go in the game, and he appeared to be bothered with a back injury. He didn't return to the bench, but at that point, the game was pretty much over. I will say this: Josh had an ugly fall in the first quarter where he went to the seats in the front row. Um, I'll say I hope he's fine. I think Begley tweeted today that he's questionable for Game 6. I'm gonna be honest, bro. I think Josh Hart's gonna have to. Like he's gonna have to not be able to get out of bed for him to not play Game 6. But what I'll say is this: I don't want him to be out, but I do think the Knicks can also close out this series without Josh Hart. Although I would want Josh Hart to play.
I think if he needs the rest, they definitely should give it to him if they can. I think that the bench has been stepping up, and one of the points that I wanted to bring up earlier that I wanted to hold off to was Jeremy Sohan. Brother, this is an acquisition that we made, and I get it. It was garbage time. It was garbage time, and I don't want to make
into the hype. Oh
no,
man,
hold on.
Go ahead,
Do you
go
not
ahead,
feel? Hold on, hear me out. Do you
I'm
not
gonna-
feel like Sohan is not somebody we need in the next round?
Who's he gonna play over?
I'm not saying playing over. I'm saying just another
but
body.
no, you're not gonna stretch. But I get that part, and I know I saw on Twitter a lot of Knicks fans were excited. I think hold on, because Sohan hit a three. I think Sohan hit a three. He had no bag. He had more points than McCollum.
Yeah,
He had 10
points.
points. He had 10 points. He shot 4-4 from the field. He 1 of 1 from downtown. Look, I get it. It was good. It was nice to see, but I don't think Jeremy Sohan is going to get any impactful minutes going forward unless it's in a serious injury. You don't expand the rotation. If you notice, Landry Shamet got plugged out, they plugged in Alvarado. I don't think Mike Brown is going to go to a 10-man rotation. So that's why I posed that question. If you want Jeremy Sohan in, who comes out? Now, if you're talking maybe Game 6, if Hart doesn't play, now you start. They'll probably more than likely maybe start Deuce or Shamet. They might start Shamet. Who knows? They might start Shamet. Or if they start Deuce, then does Sohan come off the bench? But that would just be my question. Like, who are you gonna take out? It was nice to see, though. It was nice to see. Because I was looking at it like Sohan's been working on the jump shot. We saw it, and even when on our watch party against the Charlotte, he played, he hit a couple shots and stuff like that. So you could tell he's working on his offensive game. Like the Knicks coaches are working on the shooting. You could tell that for sure.
It's garbage time. He hit 10 points against their bench. I'm not disputing that. What I'm saying is in the playoffs, in game time, it is important to get some guys going. And a guy like Sohan, who isn't somebody we know for his offensive bag, I'd like to see him at least get a few reps in there just to see what happens. I'm just saying I wouldn't argue against getting a little bit of time. You could give him 5 minutes. Just
5 minutes a lot in the playoffs, bro.
I know.
5 minutes a lot. Look, I'm not hating it. I don't hate it. But like I said, it's just who we gonna play over. And
we'll see. This is me hoping that we give Josh Hart rest because
look, at the end of the
guy
day,
can only jump for so many years.
Right. Perfect world right now. The perfect world right now for the Knicks would be Knicks close out tomorrow night. And Philly extends it to 7. Because if that happens, then the Knicks probably is not gonna play till Monday or Tuesday. because I was looking at the schedule, and hopefully we don't get to that point. Saturday is either going to be game 1 or game 7 for either Knicks and Celtics. Because that's the way it's kind of it looks. The NBA always has it like that, where they like to start series on the weekends. If not, they have to start it Monday or Tuesday. But you look at the schedule for Saturday, Boston and New York, their game sevens are scheduled for Saturday. Meaning, remember, they're the same bracket. So either that's going to be a game 7, or if both teams advance tomorrow, that's more than likely going to be game 1. So perfect scenario, perfect world. Knicks close out Thursday. Philly finds a way to beat Boston again, as they did last night, and extend it to 7. And I think once you get to 7, it's anyone's game, to be honest. And this is why I think it's very important the Knicks close out tomorrow. You don't want to go back to the Garden, obviously. So
You don't.
they got
And
to
if you
close
could
out
get a
tomorrow.
few more nights rest
Excuse
against
me.
your opponent, then you could take that.
Yeah. But brother, bring up that question now that Jess
Yep.
asked us. Cause so far it was I was just gonna ask you, who do you think is the MVP so far in this series? And I'll go first because I know we got the same guy, so I don't want to get by. I know we got the same guy.
I've been beating you to the punch in this last couple of
Yeah, you
episodes.
really have. It's got to be Cat. It's got to be Karl Anthony Towns. You look at what he's doing in this postseason. Getting guys involved, distributing the basketball, especially in these 2 games where he's been playing very much like Nikola Jokic-esque. You look at his numbers, 20 points a game right now, 11 rebounds, 5 assists. And then what he's been doing on the defense. That's the thing. You know what I mean? Like the offense is being highlighted as it should, but what Cat's been doing defensively, becoming that rim protector without fouling. Remember, Cat he led the league in offensive fouls. He's not doing that. He's picking when to be aggressive. He's picking when to be a facilitator. He's shooting the 3 ball when he needs it. He's shooting 47% from 3 so far in this series. 59% overall from the field. He's efficient in those 20 points he's getting. I said it in the preview show. I don't think the Knicks will lose a game if he scores 25 or more. And the Knicks have been able to win games where he hasn't so far. And that's because he's also getting guys involved. So if we had to pick right now MVP of this series so far, it's a no-brainer for me. It's Karl Anthony Towns.
And only just to give another option out there,
I know who
because
you
I
going
think
with. Can
I'm
I
going with
go
OG.
ahead? Go ahead.
I'm going with OG.
There we go. Yeah.
It's
That's
OG.
it. Right.
It's 1A and 1B. Like at this point,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, this team rest of this series is not going far with these guys not on the court. OG's averaging 20 points, nine rebounds, 1 assist, 1.4 steals per game, 1.2 blocks per game, averaging 37 minutes. The guy, and that's just the numbers there. That's not every game to game. That's not telling you what your eyeballs see. And you can see the effort that OG has been giving. And like you said in probably like less than 10 minutes ago, you were saying that OG will go ahead and put up those points. He will go ahead and be the second option if he needs to be, or even the first option. The guy is quiet. He doesn't talk much. You don't hear much about OG. He just gets it done. And like you said about Kawhi, I can see baby like Kawhi aspirations. I'm not saying he's Kawhi. Never take my word.
But you see it in his game, so I get what you're saying. Like,
but you
we're
can
not
see
saying
the
he is,
offensive and defensive capabilities of this guy. This is the guy who
the
already won a
defense is
championship.
there, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So
no, 100%.
that's my guy.
Yeah, man. And I can't go wrong with either one. And that's good problems to have where we can name MVPs of series, and it's not just Jalen Brunson. You have options. And if you pick Jalen Brunson,
series, it could be
nobody gonna look at you crazy too, because for the most part, for everything that we've talked about Jalen Brunson and how Jalen Brunson has been getting some slack lately, bro, Jalen Brunson still averaging 26 points a game in this series, over close to 7 assists, 6.8. 47% from the field. His 3-point is probably and has your opinion? No, my opinion is never. I could just speak for me. It's never changed on Brunson. I think with I know I can speak for us here at the Ozone. Our gripe, not even a gripe, but just our take on Carl Anthony Towns being a priority is just our assessment that we have the advantage in that particular spot. You know what I'm saying? And we thought obviously, Brunson's are gonna have games where he's playing hero ball, and he did it in game 2. But then for the most part, you can always count on Brunson when it matters. I was looking at the Detroit game the other day, and Detroit, Kay Cunningham had two points in the fourth quarter in a game where you about to be down 3-1, and Kay Cunningham had 2 points in the fourth quarter. That's something I don't care how bad of a game Brunson's having. I can always count on Brunson scoring 2 points in a fourth quarter, and especially when it gets to clutch time. So the crazy part, as I mentioned, the fact that we're talking about Brunson not having his best playoff series as a Knick, and the man is still averaging 26 points a game, 6.8 assists a game, shooting 46% from the field. That just tells you the greatness of Jalen Brunson, and what we expect from Jalen Brunson is so high that a performance like that, any player gives us that numbers, we're raving, we're throwing a parade for. But because it's Jalen Brunson, we know you can do better than that. And he knows he can perform better than that.
And I think it's just the star effect. I think it's when your guy is the number one guy and he doesn't look as efficient as he did early on in this series. And you said the numbers, but still, the eyeball test tells us like Jalen Brunson wasn't playing his best ball in the beginning of the series. So I don't think my opinion changed. I just wanted to see something a little bit different. And kudos once again to the Atlanta Hawks. They have big wings. They know how to guard him. And until Lemon Pepper and those people in the Hawks. But kudos to Dyson Daniels, Jalen Johnson, and everyone else who's been playing defense on Jalen Brunson. It's no knock against them. Brunson's the better player, but if you're so focused, is that we're making sure that Brunson is being bothered, because that's what it was, being bothered by our guys, then kudos to you, because your game plan was working. Unfortunately, you forgot there's another guy that you need to defend. So my opinion doesn't change about Brunson, and I thank you for the question, Jess. But it's more so that here at the Ozone, we wanted to see something different because the hero ball wasn't going to win us games if it's not working. Hero ball only works when it's actually working. If you're going and lighting it up for 45 points and you're going hero ball the whole time, brother, like, what you're laughing at? What you laughing at?
You say hero ball is only going to work when it's working. Well, shit, it's true. Yeah, of course.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. You never know.
I guess the saying would be, hero ball is, I guess, more accepting when it's working.
I guess. Yeah, it's more okay. How about this?
You ignore it.
You don't dub it hero ball. You don't dub it hero ball until it's not working.
I guess when it's not working, you dub it. Yeah.
Because if a guy goes and has a monster
working,
game,
you call it clutch.
Yeah,
I agree. But it was just so funny. It was like, clearly, like, if nothing's not working, it's not working.
It's not working. Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
No, I agree with you 1,000%, man. Let's talk about Game 6 real fast. Sean Allen, I had showed it.
Yep.
Game 6 tomorrow, 7 p.m. guys on ESPN. And it's funny because I was watching the Celtics game yesterday, and I'm like, damn, man, it sucks. We haven't even got Mike Breen to call a Knick playoff game. So I'm assuming we're going to get Mike Breen on this game. So that's going to be dope. Unfortunately, we got to deal with Richard Jefferson. But we get Mike Breen on the game. Brother, what is one thing you want to see from the Knicks? Or I guess one thing that the Knicks need to do in Game 6 to make sure we're not going home for Game 7?
Do what's been working for you the last 2 games, making sure that your bigs are out there on the floor. You're not leaving Cat and Brunson. You know what? I'm giving 2 things. So I just
no. Go ahead. I guess 1A. It goes hand in hand. It goes hand in hand.
Making sure that we don't have Brunson and Cat on the bench at the same time for long periods of time. Just if you're ahead by 10 points, don't just let your foot off the gas because you're ahead at
Yeah,
this point, and that's fine. Kill them. It's send them home. We're all black. Send them home. Let them get their lemon pepper wings, and then go to Cancun after.
yeah. My thing is punch them in the face immediately. They're gonna be tense. The crowd's gonna be tense. You know, it's obviously I know it's cliche, but they always say the hardest game to get is the closeout game. But this is a veteran team. This is a team that's done this back to back years in the playoffs in the first round, closing out a series on the road. They did it in Philadelphia 2 years ago. Matter of fact, 3 years, 3 years in a row, this Nick team has eliminated, has won an elimin, has closed out their opponent on the road, dating back from Cleveland in Game 5. Then they did it against Philly in 6. Obviously, I know it was different, but the nucleus is still there with Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart. They did it then last year with Detroit, and they need to do it tomorrow night. Punch them in the face, get the crowd out of it. The crowd's gonna be nervous. You got to think about it like this: Atlanta's gonna give you everything. They're fighting for their basketball lives, and they're gonna come out gunslinging. They might be too amped up, but take advantage. I think the Knicks got to do what they didn't do in Game 3. In Game 3, Atlanta was so pumped and they were overshooting, but the Knicks never quite took advantage of it. Have a strong first quarter. Uh, do what you've been doing Game 4 and 5. Get cat the ball. Get moving around. Look for open shots. Get and play clean basketball.
Yeah. Get them
The
out of it.
Atlanta wants to score on transition. They want to score off turnovers. You clean that up like the Knicks have been doing these last 2 games and prevent that. And you're gonna find Atlanta to be struggling.
Shout out to the Knicks to doing that exactly against them. Transition game has always been Atlanta's strong suit, and I feel like last game the Knicks was like, no, that's going to be our thing today, because they were killing them in transition. And then the other thing is, like you said, punch them in the mouth, get the crowd out of it, because guess what? That stadium is filled with a lot of New Yorkers who moved to Georgia and surrounding states. So just get the crowd out of it and have the New York fans take over.
All right, Jess. She said, right, and screw the unwritten rule Joker was crying about. All right, matter of fact, before we wrap up, what was your thoughts on that?
Man, you know what? For somebody who really doesn't care about the sport, sometimes he has a lot to cry about. Sometimes Joker is one of
I'll,
the best players, but
did
come
you
on,
do you like that? Do you like it though?
no,
Like what McDaniel's did?
I don't care. Honestly, I don't care.
I don't care, but I'll be honest, I don't really care for it. I don't care for it, but I get it. I get it because he don't like them. He shitted on them. I think the second game called out the whole Denver team that none of them play defense or whatever. And even Mike Conley said it. Mike Conley was like, "Yo, I knew I messed up when I gave him the ball." You know what I mean? I think as a professional, you don't do it. This is the one time I'm gonna agree with Stephen A. Where I think Stephen A has said, I don't agree with it, I don't like it, but I love it at the same time because it's like, yo, especially for me, I'm dying for like I like when guys don't like each other. So I thought it was unprofessional, but I wasn't mad at it at the same time. I wasn't mad at it at the same time. So I'll admit to that. Um let's get through one more before we wrap up. The Knicks need to score to the end, no matter how much they're up by. No, yeah, 100%. The Knicks, as you said, Dave, they got to keep their foot on the pedal. Right now, shout out to Toronto, bro. They're up 9 right now against Cleveland. But yeah, the Knicks got to continue to keep their foot on their neck and you know just do
That's
that.
their karma for Cleveland. By the way, that's their karma.
Yeah.
They were cheering that they got the Raptors. Well, here, throw my Raptors.
Yeah, that is definitely their karma. But I remember I like they had reported that Toronto was really happy they got the Cleveland matchup too because they didn't want the Knicks. And they're playing like it now. But guys, we want to thank you guys for tapping in with the live, being active. Shout out to all of y'all. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel, guys. If you like what you see, and remember, we have a brand new episode out right now. Super producer Dave and I are breaking down the Giants and Jets NFL draft picks. We're giving you our takes on what we thought of the picks, which one of these picks will have the most significant impact, early impact on their team. We're also discussing for our baseball fans, Yankees, Met fans. We are also sharing, shining some light on you guys as well. We're talking about the Yankees' hot start, how I think the Yankees have the best pitching rotation in baseball. We'll also talk. I think we also covered the Mets, right, brother? We also covered the Mets. Can
Do
the
we
can
have
the
to? We had to,
Mets?
right?
Yeah, we had to cover the Mets. Can the Mets bounce back from this 12-game losing streak? Can they keep their season alive? We're discussing it all. Plus, we also mentioned and we talk about WWE, obviously their post WrestleMania cuts. They cut 15. I wish the whole AI thing would have came out when we recorded, but we could always discuss that later about Triple H and WWE using AI to write their storylines and that sort of crap. But guys, we love you guys. Thank you for showing support. Remember, like, share, subscribe, follow us on all our social media platforms. We are available on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, Reddit, and TikTok. Guys, we will be live. I nailed that one, right?
Yeah, you did.
Our next live will be Friday night. Hopefully, we are celebrating the end of a season for the Atlanta Hawks and the start of a second round for our New York Knicks. So in the meantime, in between time, check out the new. I was gonna check out the new AW. Check out the new Ozone episode out right now. Remember, like, share, subscribe, show some love to your boys, and we will see you guys Friday night. Peace.
Jets, Knicks, Giants, pinstripes, orange and blue. Whole city locked in, yeah, they tuned in too. Press play, turn it up.